Hi, I'm Jinnie Cristerna, the High Achievers Therapist, and this video is dedicated to answering the most common questions that people have of me so that way you can have more information as you're making a decision about choosing a therapist and whether or not I would be the kind of therapist that you would find helpful to work with. So let's get started with the first question. I got started, I think, from the time that I was a little girl. I've always had this ability to talk with people and to listen and to understand what they were feeling even when they were unsure of what they were feeling. And that, for me, I think really clicked in my head at about 7 years old and just never went away. It got very, very strong. So my ability to be empathetic was really just very normal for me. So I didn't see it as a gift at all. I could sense a lot of pain even when people weren't around. So I just knew when to call and what to say. And a lot of people appreciated that. So as I went through undergraduate and then my graduate school at the University of Chicago, my niche became extremely defined, and it was completely by accident. I worked oftentimes with really smart individuals growing up in poverty or the middle class, and then the next thing I knew, the same people were showing up in my private practice in my office, saying that, you know what, they have more money than they can manage and know what to do with, but they're still struggling with some of the challenges of their childhood, whether it was abuse or some type of trauma, or just being able to adjust to the new found wealth that they've created for themselves. So the very same people who I helped using social services as they were growing up still needed additional support. And my niche ended up becoming something that I'm known for now, which is working with high achievers in that clinical space. And so, very rarely, if ever, do I advertise or market. They just seem to find me, and my belief, very, very honestly, to be just straightforward, is that I only work with people that I'm supposed to work with. So if you come into my life and it's a good fit, then I will definitely work with you. But I got started when I was very, very young and really was completely unaware of this quote unquote gift that I had to listen, to help, and to heal. I have a success rate of about almost 90%, and I have been asked how I came up with that number. Well, what I have always done was clients who came into me, they would tell me what they're coming in for and tell me what their symptoms are, identify what their goal is, and we would track that. So for me, when people got better, when their symptomology was significantly reduced or eliminated altogether, I counted that as a success. And I would always ask them, do you feel that this was helpful? And many of them, almost 90%, usually said yes. And those were the people who actually completed their treatment with me. And over 20 years, I think I've worked with several thousand people. So, depending on what their benchmark for success was, that's how I base my success rate. People are always welcome to come back to me when the need arises. And I think that my effectiveness just comes from being able to identify what my client or my patient is wanting to work on, go to the source of where that pain is, help them work through it and resolve it in an effective way, and then allow them to live their life. And so for me, being specific enough to stay focused, but being open enough to allow them to play and to identify other areas of their life that is being impacted so they can have that type of emotional release, and finding that sense of peace is really what makes me effective with the people that come to me. The way that I work with clients is actually a little unique. I am trained in several modalities, and whether it's Freudian, cognitive behavioral, EFT, heart-centered hypnotherapy, relational, interpersonal, self-psychology is my favorite, and that's what I actually use the most. And I work with my clients by meeting them where they are. If they're coming in to do more psychotherapy, I definitely do more psychoanalytic, psychodynamic therapy. However, if they're coming to me to do something that's a lot more spiritual, I'm trained in vibrational energy and I also perform Reiki. So those things all come together depending on what the client needs. So I don't think that I'm an eclectic therapist. I definitely have a focus, which is self psychology. Nonetheless, not everybody is coming to be analyzed, and not everyone is coming to do therapy in the traditional sense. So I find that heart-centered hypnotherapy and some energy work, or just energy work by itself, can be just as effective, if not more effective, for some of the clients that come into me. So as I work with people, I identify what's important to them, what they would prefer to do, and then that's where we start. If I feel that I can be helpful, I will definitely do the best that I can. I think what most people find helpful is the fact that I'm very honest. If I'm unable to help you, I will not take you as a client. And that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. So my clients and my patients know this about me. If I'm not qualified to work with you, or if I really believe that there's not very much that I can do for you that warrants your financial investment, that warrants the investment of your time, I will refer you out, or I will just say, you know what, I'm not the best therapist for you. The reality for me is I can't work with everyone because I am not everything to everyone. And I think that people appreciate that. So I only take on people, clients and patients that I really do feel that I can help. There are a number of reasons why people choose to work with me, and most of the time people come to me through a referral. Most people who work with me know that I do a very thorough assessment, so very rarely do I refer people out to a psychiatrist unless it is truly a medical condition. So they do trust that by the time I said, here, I want you to see Dr. So and so, it really is because there's some underlying medical issue that's present and that would warrant some psychotropic medication, whether short or long term. It really depends. And I work very closely with their psychiatrist to make sure that everybody is working together as a team. The other thing is that they know what they're going to get when they come into my office. When we work together, they know that I am fully present with them. They know that I am going to be honest with them, and they know that I do care about them. Now, at the end of the day, they also know that I'm going to be very tactful in how I present some of their challenges and hold them accountable. But at the end of the day, that's why people come into therapy. They want to get better. They know that something else is going on, and they trust me to be able to help them with that, even when it gets really tough. As far as vibrational energy work, or just energy work in general, spirituality, meditation, they come to me because I'm genuine. I am not Buddha. I have not reached enlightenment, but I'm working on myself, and so I'm very practical. I teach them how to do their own meditations in a way that allows them to maintain their own routine, whatever that may be. And they like the intimacy and the privacy of the one-on-one, and not necessarily doing it in a group. So the benefits and the reasons that people come to me vary, but at the end of the day, they get the results that they're looking for, even if I'm not quite sure what they're looking for from time to time, because it can change. But they usually stay, and they come back. Whenever there's a bump in the road, or they just come back for mental health maintenance or just to check in. So I guess people come to me because they like the work that is done, and they get the results that they're looking for, and their life is better because of it. People often ask me about my fees, and I admit my fees are higher than the traditional psychotherapist or counselor, as well as the traditional energy worker. And here's the reason for that. I don't see 30, 40, or 50 clients a week. Not because it's a bad thing, it's just I'm unable to regulate and manage that number of people. It gets very overwhelming for me, and I'm unable to be fully present when I'm with that person. I'm unable to process, and I'm unable to hold them in a way that allows me to stay connected with them, that allows me to be able to help them heal. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is because of that, I see fewer clients. So I might see between 8 and 12 clients a week. And some of those clients come in once a month, some of those clients come in once a week, and some of those clients come in 2 or 3 times a week, depending on what they're working on. When I see clients and the frequency is a lot greater, the intensity of their work is also greater. When I see clients once or twice a month, we don't stay as connected. However, when I don't have 40 or 50 hours that I'm billing a week, I can still hold them and think about them and stay connected to them in a way that allows us to pick right back up where we left off without too much disruption. So when people come to me, they're paying not so much for my expertise, because I do believe that there are a number of gifted and fantastic therapists out there who have expertise in different areas and who are fantastic to work for and work with. My thing is, my weakness is being overwhelmed. So when I work with my clients, what they're really paying for is to have me work with a smaller number of people so I can stay connected to each of them without feeling overwhelmed and turning everyone basically into a number. Because at 40 or 50 clients a week, I really can't tell the difference between one patient or another. It's just like a factory in my mind. At least for me, that's what it's like. Other therapists can do that. They have a gift of being able to work with a lot of people. I just don't have that gift. I don't have that ability or that capacity. So that's why my fee is so much higher. When I'm working with individuals, my fee is higher, but not too terribly much higher. When I'm working with companies, my fee is significantly higher, only because I'm holding the goal of the company in mind, and I'm working with that employee to make sure that those goals are aligned if that's appropriate. So I'm not just working with one person, I'm working with one person within a larger group. So companies usually tend to spend a lot more, and it can be several $100s per hour and up. So depending on the company that I work with, and what they're looking for me to do with their employees and for their company, that that can vary. So the question that I'm often asked is, what kind of people come in to me? What kind of companies retain me? What kind of companies look for me? And that's a great question, because as the high achievers therapist, the question really is, who's a high achiever? So for me, I tell people that a high achiever is a subjective description. So most times when people come into me, they feel like they excel at something. There's some type of psychological block that prevents them from doing more, from reaching higher levels in either their profession and their life, socially or personally. So it becomes something that is a self-identifying description for a lot of my clients and a lot of my patients. I will tell you that I do work with a lot of doctors, a lot of attorneys, a lot of traders, and a lot of startups and financial companies. So when I work with startups, it's usually IT or some type of financial prop trading startup. And if I work with a doctor or a lawyer or some professional individual, it's because there's something going on and they've been very thoughtful in who they choose to work with. I also work with students from Ivy League schools, so anywhere along the East Coast, Harvard, Princeton, Yale, University of Chicago, Stanford, students and their families who are really smart, but something is just going on and they need to kind of clear that out so they can continue to move forward. So I do get a lot of calls from students who are taking some time off from school, from parents who are looking to figure out for themselves the best way to interact with their child, and parents just in general trying to figure out how to be a parent and how to be themselves and balance the two or integrate the two without there being too much of a disparity between them. So, I mean, people come to me from all over for a number of reasons, and those are just kind of the main type of people who tend to find me. People often wonder what they can expect when they come into my office and work with me. And what I tell them is you can expect me to be pretty laid back and friendly. I am just like you. I'm a person. I have my own story. I have my own challenges and I have my own faults and issues and bag of crap, just like everybody else. I am probably more aware of them than the average person, and I'm probably more open to looking at them and working through them than the average person. But I'm in no way better than any of my clients that come into me. And I think that they appreciate that. And it allows a feeling of genuineness, of realness, of sincerity to be present. And it allows the individual to truly work through whatever interpersonal stuff might be there for them in a way that allows them to heal. So you can expect to come in and actually work with a real person, not a blank screen. You can expect to get authentic engagement, not just the question, how does that make you feel? I can be very active in the therapy from time to time, or I can be very silent in the therapy from time to time. Again, depending on what it is that my client or my patient needs. So that's pretty much what you can expect. And you can expect everything to be tailored to you and your unique challenge and situation. And you can also expect to be fully a part of your treatment or your program. So, well, I hope that answered a lot of your questions. I hope it gave you an opportunity to get to know me and who I am and how I work with my clients and my patients. And I hope that you'll call if you feel like this might be something that you want to do and if I'm the therapist that you might want to work with. If so, feel free to give me a call at 312-382-8710, extension 150. If I am able to take on new patients, I will definitely let you know. If not, I will let you know about the waiting list and how that works. If you'd like more information outside of this video, feel free to go to my website at www.highachiever.net. That's www.highachiever.net. Thanks so much, and with love and light. Talk to you soon. Bye.